The views expressed on this podcast are that of the host. This topic of UFOs is full of governments, charlatans, thieves, and loads of shit. For your listening enjoyment, put on your tinfoil hat, turn off all the lights in the home, and sit in complete silence because the probe is armed. Don't be scared if you're touched. Lastly, the UFO talk is explicit and your virgin mind is about to get fried. Let's get the show started.
This is the Tempest Universe.
Welcome to the Tempest Universe, the only episode for this week. As I mentioned last week, I'm going to be incognito until next Monday, but should be fun. We got some great little news articles to talk about. It's going to be fantastic. You're going to love it, and then you'll be without the Moonraker for the entire week. So today, basically, is whatever you got, whether it's rum, whether it's vodka, you call it. Just pour it in. Mix them together. I don't care. Whatever works. It's all good as far as I'm concerned. The UFO madness is getting a little bit crazier, a little bit nuttier, and the search is on. Their search is on for the truth. People are not holding back anymore. You know, we see more and more people in government, more and more people in the commercial space just coming out, just totally coming out the closet, like Bill Nelson did a few days ago. But you can't hold it against him, you know. I mean, eventually you've got to come to terms. Now, I'm happy that not everyone is waiting until the deathbed confession scenario. You know, sometimes you got to get angry a little younger. You know, like me, I'm angry now. I'm not waiting till my deathbed. But the deathbed comes when you least fucking expect it. So that's what the problem is. Why wait until you're about to kick the damn bucket before you decide to clear the air about what you know? Let's get it together, people. Come on. The time is now. This is when you can do it. People in the world would appreciate if you don't wait till you're dead, because we might have some damn questions. I think maybe that's the best, I'm sorry, not the best, but the worst part about deathbed confessions. You can't ask anybody nothing once they're dead. You can't. There's no follow-up questions. There's no part 2 to the interview. There's nothing. Zero, zilch, nada, kaput. It's all done. So, I mean, you know, thank you for all of those who are brave enough to just get the shit done now. You know, don't wait until the last moment to say you've got something, or you've seen something, or you heard something, you read something, you discovered another something. Do it now, while you can. While it matters, for fuck's sake, to be honest. Because later on, you'll be too damn late. There is a audio clip of Bill Nelson, the main man, the NASA chief himself. And then that goes with an article. But what we're going to do is we're going to get the show started, because you know what I likes to do, folks? I like to play a little music with the podcast. And first and foremost, thank you guys for listening. And check this out.
Give it all you got, yeah, let's steal.
don't know about this song. It feels like a UFC montage, like a song that you play, like a theme song. I felt like someone was just in the ring somewhere beating somebody's ass. I ran over this clip over the weekend, really, with Bill Nelson and what he said. And, it's a lot easier for me just to play what people say because some haters believe that some of the shit that comes in these articles are fake. So whenever I can find the actual audio of the person saying it, I like to play it because then there is no judgment call. You can't really pull straw out of your ass and make believe that somebody faked the funk on the Tempest universe. This is the real shit. This is Bill Nelson. And the article that people are talking about is basically about, him talking about the probability that life exists outside of planet Earth. Because for fuck's sake, if anyone should believe that, it should be fucking Bill Nelson, to be honest. Here's a clip.
Now, I know what you've seen is what those Navy pilots saw in 2004, and there have been some 300 sightings since then. And I've talked to those pilots, and they know they saw something, and their radars locked onto it. And then all of a sudden it was here on the surface, and then it's there. And they don't know what it is, and we don't know what it is. We hope it's not an adversary here on Earth that has that kind of technology. But it's something. And so this is a mission that we're constantly looking. Who is out there? Who are we? How did we get here? How did we become as we are? How did we develop? How did we civilize? And are those same conditions out there in a universe that has billions of other suns in billions of other galaxies? It's so large, I can't conceive it.
It was suggested to me by many different people. They did want your comment on what you think the fighter pilot saw. I think most people saw that 60 Minutes piece, and there were a lot of newspaper pieces about whether or not it was Russia or China or perhaps more likely some extraterrestrial intelligent beings. What is your theory? You've heard a lot of options. Which one do you think is the most credible, if you can choose?
My personal opinion is that the universe is so big, and now there are even theories that there might be other universes. And if that's the case, who am I to say that planet Earth is the only location of a life form that is civilized and organized like ours?
The thing about this whole interview here is that, we've said this a lot of times through UFO Bus Radio, through the Tempest universe. The universe itself is so large, you cannot fathom it in your feeble human brain. It's impossible. That number is so astronomical. It is so huge that you just cannot picture it. You cannot put enough zeros in that number in your gray matter for you to truly understand the size of the universe. There's a lot of videos you can find, like on YouTube, even on Facebook. There's a comparison. It starts with our planet, compares the sun, compares other suns, compares galaxies, and it just goes on and on. If you look at how we started just with our planet compared to the size of everything else, halfway through the video you lose all perspective because it's so fucking large. It's huge. And for anyone to think that we are the only sentient beings in this universe, you're fucked up in the head. You really are. The other issue is that because it's so big, it is very possible that the next life form could be way too far for us to ever reach them, for us to ever contact them. And so that also leads to the idea that parts of the universe are so fucking old that there's probably been, a gajillion races out there, alien life that has come and gone. And we'll never know about it. And so that goes in line with the idea that there might be civilizations out there that are hundreds of thousands of years ahead of us that could potentially master faster than light travel. And they could potentially be hanging around here because they got no fucking nowhere else to go. They're just here. Bill Nelson had this interview. Now, just to give you a little background on Bill Nelson, he actually at one time traveled back in 1986 on the Columbia shuttle. He went up into space. He's a Democrat. He was a member of the Florida House of Representatives and then a senator. And now he's the chief NASA, head guy. He's running fucking NASA right now, which we thought he was going to quit when the administration change came to the United States, but I guess he stuck around. But to be able to sit there and have these open conversations, finally, it's great. Now, the only thing I disagree with is that NASA's not fucking looking for alien life. They're not. They're looking for microbial shit from about 1 million years ago. That's not... the fucking printer just went off just now behind me. These are the kind of sound effects you don't get anywhere else. But they're not looking for that. They're spending billions of dollars to find ancient life that's already dead. No, Bill, listen, no one gives any fucks about that. Nobody. We don't want to spend billions of dollars in order to find shit that died a long time ago. We need to find out the shit that's alive now. Because until somebody identifies microbial life that does not come from some kind of genome on this planet, people are not going to believe in aliens. People are not going to believe that there could be completely different life that evolved completely different than on this planet somewhere else. And let's face it, that's the way it is. That's why I think that people that say they contacted aliens or they've been contacted, they had cat ladies all on them, you're telling the wrong people. You should not be telling people who already believe in the topic. You need to tell the people that don't believe, the ones that are closed-minded. Now, yes, some of these stories are a little outlandish, I get it. But for fuck's sake, you got to bring more people into the conversations because, there's a lot of people out there that are just not part of it. They don't want to be part of it. The other fact is that Bill mentioned the whole thing about, adversaries. And he's like, for fuck's sake, I really hope that it's not Russia or China or somebody else that has this technology. Okay, it's clear to me that Bill Nelson fully believes that there's some shit going out there when it comes to what the military is reporting. So, it's just a moment of time before we get a little bit more of this, soft disclosure or controlled disclosure, whatever the hell it is, time-lapse disclosure. This is crazy because, the printer's going nuts. Bugs is snoring like crazy. I don't know. This is what happens when you're about to go on vacation. So there you go. Now, yeah, so he likes to say that NASA's looking for aliens. And loosely, I would say they are. Loosely. Like really loosely. The other thing that he said in this is that apparently he shares the save the world type of perspective. And there's a quote from him on this which wasn't recorded, but it says, I tell you what makes me think I'd better be a better steward what we have because we're messing it up. And we're messing it up just the way we're treating each other. Kumbaya. He said, so I know what my mission is, to be a better steward of the planet and to be a better citizen of the planet Earth. And that's great. This is the kind of epiphanies you get when you're, just a few years away from kicking the bucket. I mean, listen, I was surprised when I saw the video. It's like, God, he's old as shit. These are the things that people should realize when they're young. Like the hippies. This is the thing that you have to realize that you're fucking up the planet. Don't wait until you're, late 80s to say, oh, because you can't do shit. You can't go out and pick up garbage. You can't do none of that. You can't even fight the good fight because you're on some kind of medical situation. The planet is great. It is wonderful. It is a beautiful place to be. But for fuck's sake, if you want to do it, you want to save it, do it early on. Don't go through all this nonsense about right before you kick the bucket that you believe in aliens and you want to save the planet. I just don't know what to do with stuff like that. But hey, Bill's on the right track. Let's be honest. Now, is he going to be able to influence the entirety of NASA to search actively for alien life? Now, that's going to be a hard job, and I don't think he'll be able to do it. I think there's a lot of people in NASA that diehard scientific methodology that do not believe in aliens as being a real thing. But I think that if you can get them at least to embrace the fact that the universe is so magnificently large, as he said, that they can understand that there's a possibility that life could evolve elsewhere and could have evolved way advanced of where humankind is, and maybe, throwing a jab or two that how could they explain the phenomena, which, with the accounts of all of the military men and women that experienced them, those reports, because he said there was over 300 reports since 2004, that there appears to be a repeatable phenomena. Get repeated over and over again. So why couldn't you apply scientific research to it? Just saying, for a friend. Check out the article. It's in the description. There's a lot more history about Bill Nelson in there, and there's a lot more about what he said. But, we got to see how it works out, because Bill Nelson is not going to be the last one to come out the closet and talk about he believes in aliens, and he has concerns about what happened in 2004 and what continues to happen. But there's a lot of stories out there that are not being considered for some reason. And there's probably a good reason for them not to consider the prior history to UFOs, because it's magnificent at times.
Say you love me, say you don't. Just give me something so I can move on. Pull me closer or push me away. Let me know if we'll be okay. 'Cause I can't stand another moment of you playing with my mind. I'm so tired of never knowing, so spell it out. 'Cause I won't stay awake till morning, I won't stay another night. If you're feeling something for me, say it now. 'Cause I can't wait for you forever. 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 I've been patient with your love. Sometimes you don't show it enough. And I wish you could open up and take my worry in and make it stop. 'Cause I can't stand another moment can't wait for you forever. 'Cause I can't wait for you forever. I can't wait. 'Cause I can't wait for you forever. 'Cause I can't wait for you forever. 'Cause I can't wait for you forever. 'Cause I can't wait for you forever.
Don't fucking scream at me.
Where's
you
the money?
Fuck you. Look at you with your fucking 48% body fat and
I love the story because it's another sample of what I just said. Why are they not going beyond 2004 for this UAP nonsense? This story really encompasses some of the weirdness that happened way back when that cannot be explained, but yet happened to a quote-unquote credible witness. This is the story about Deputy Sheriff Val Johnson. He sounds like a porno star. Val Johnson, or maybe a wrestler. And his squad car back in 1979. Some shit went down out in Minnesota. Apparently the folks in Minnesota believe that this is one of those credible UFO stories, so much so that they did something about it. We'll get to that at the end of the story. But in Minnesota in 1979, Sheriff Val Johnson claimed that he saw aliens. Oh, I'm sorry, he didn't claim he saw aliens. He didn't claim he saw spaceships, merely that a force he could not identify collided with his car. And not just collided, the freaking thing cracked the windshield, left him unconscious, and basically his testimony and the evidence left behind became one of the most popular cases in Minnesota. Just so you don't know. Now you know. You've been schooled on it. There was one night in August 27 of 79. He was on his patrol car doing his thing in a desolate stretch of County Highway 5 in Marshall County. And it's, if you guys are in Minnesota, 10 miles west of Stephen. It was 1:40 a.m. And what did he spot? He spotted a bright-ass fucking light in the sky. Now, this is the way UFO stories go, right? You're in the middle of the night. Either you're looking up in the sky, you're down a lonely road somewhere where you're 4.2 far fucked, basically. I mean, just a casebook. So, folks, if you're on a lonely road, please don't get out of your car. Step on the gas and go. Get the fuck out of the way when you see that weird-ass light doing weird-ass maneuvers and getting bigger and closer in the sky. I don't know why the fuck people stop. I don't understand it. Anyway, he's out in Marshall County, and about 1:40 a.m. he spots his light in the sky, and he's about to make a turn left onto State Highway 220 to investigate what he thinks possibly could be an airplane making an emergency landing. That's how big it was. That's how in the face it was. So much so that his superhuman cop powers came on, and he needed to investigate. You know, him I can understand, right? He's a cop. That's the shit that you do as a cop. But you regular people who like to stop when that bright light comes down, you're just looking for a probing. Anyway, so, you know, he says, hey, maybe it's a plane going down. So he decides he's going to, you know, drive forward and kind of go in the direction of the light. But then the shit got serious. So he's doing this, and the light enters the car. WTF. How the hell does that happen? How is it that the light enters the car of a police patrol car while he's searching for what he thinks might be a crashing or emergency landing airplane? He says when the thing came in, He was pretty much out for about 39 minutes. He said he had extreme pain to his eye. He had a bump on his head. But the car was even worse condition. Now, this is some fucking light that entered his car that did this. He says the car, the hood was dented, the antennas were bent, the windshield was shattered, he had a broken headlight, a broken hazard light. Completely nuts. The patrol car's clock and his wristwatch stopped for about 14 minutes, both at the same time. So whatever cracked the windshield also sent the car 854 feet along the road, where it actually stopped at a 90-degree angle to oncoming traffic. This was no ordinary light. This was freaking nuts. This was what's happening in Minnesota. Well, at least back in '79. But these are the kind of stories that are being neglected right now. And there are hundreds of thousands of them out there that if you come across, you will find them to be amazing, almost extraordinary. And like I said before, here you have someone who is a credible witness. Here's an officer who's on patrol, thinks that there might be some shit going down, that he needs to, jump into action and maybe even help someone. And this happens to him. According to the doctor that treated him in the city of Warren, he says that the deputy's eyes, Val Johnson's eyes, looked like they had welder's burns. Isn't that crazy? Freaking nuts. They also contacted the Air Force and the FAA at the time, and they both confirmed that there were no aircraft that had been scheduled to fly or were reported in the area in those early hours of August 27th. So it would appear to me this is a legitimate UFO that a sheriff deputy was investigating, and he had a run-in with something that one would appear to say, or could assume, was not very fucking friendly, or did not like the idea that the sheriff was onto it, or whatever the fuck it was doing, out there in the middle of nowhere. The coolest thing about this story is, it's not one that was merely forgotten out there in Minnesota, because the Marshall County Historical Society in Warren actually preserved some of the documentation of the incident, as well as, get this, the squad car, the damaged windshield, the hood, the lights, the antennas, and they all remain intact as they appeared back in 1979. These are in display and preserved. This is freaking nuts. This is the way it should be with most of these UFO incidents. Somebody needs to get involved and preserve, these artifacts. But that is nuts. And actually, if you go to the article, there is a picture of Val Johnson before his porno days. There's a picture of Val Johnson on that road with a squad car behind him. And it's an old ass picture. It's black and white, but you can tell it was back from the 70s. Pretty cool UFO story incident out of Minnesota. And again, these are the kind of stories that, especially in this case, if it wasn't for the Historical Society, we'd forget about this. We'd be so focused on what's happening right now with the military and the UAP report, the government and congressional committees, unintelligent ones, that we forget that there is a rich history of UFO incidents that is slowly being forgotten and could literally answer the question as to whether or not these UFO incidents are an adversarial origin like China or Russia. Come on. Let's get it together, folks. The article is in the description. Check it out. It's a pretty cool read. And, if you're out there in Minnesota, why not check out the story yourself? Contact the Historical Society in Warren. and see if you can check out the artifacts of this pretty fascinating incident. There was a signal back in 2019 called the BLC1. So the BLC1 is actually a radio signal that came through the Breakthrough Listen project. They called it the Breakthrough Listen Candidate Number 1. And, you know, this signal was detected by the Parkes Observatory in Australia. And it actually came from one of the places that people think is a good candidate for extraterrestrial life, and that would be Proxima Centauri, because it does have a planet in the habitable zone, and it's actually pretty freaking close. That's where the term 4.24 came from, because it is 4.2 light years away, which is not fucking far, right? That's like right up our alley. So they got this signal back in 2019. Now, this came out of an observation period with the observatory that yielded more than 4 million signs of radio emissions that were captured through, a bunch of different wavelengths. One of them appeared to be like super precise, like they were beaming that shit right at us, saying, "Hey, we're here, check it out." This happened at 982 megahertz. This actually was an article that we talked about way back when it happened. The damn thing lasted 2.5 hours on April 29th of 2019. And it wasn't just constant, it was actual kind of like varying. Like the frequency itself was increasing, and then all of a sudden, after 2.5 hours, it was gone. But it didn't seem random. It seemed like someone actually did that shit on purpose. So it became the BLC1. Well, what is it, 3 years later? They finally were able to get through a lot of things, and there was a team of researchers out of University of California, Berkeley, who decided, hey, let's dig into all these observations of Proxima Centauri. Okay, let's see if there's any signals that are kind of like it, that are in that same frequency. They lasted for that long. Like, they are the marathon of radio signals. What they found, this is where they come in and burst the bubble, because they ain't got nothing better to do. They found 60 other signals that were nearly identical to BLC1. So the Breakthrough Listen Project, which is basically listening for, alien signals that could be some kind of evidence of technosignatures of an alien civilization. These guys at Berkeley found 60 other signals that are very similar to that signal that was detected as part of BLC1 out of Proxima Centauri. And what their conclusion was that it was produced by human technology near the observatory. So they're basically saying that the shit came from somewhere in Australia. I don't know about you, but I heard Australia's internet's pretty sucky. How the fuck did they do this? How did they fuck up the signal so badly with what was coming off of Australia that they would fuck up a study like this? I don't understand. I mean, of course, this whole article is not talking about how they fucked it up, but the fact is that they have to comb through so many signals, so much junk and interference in order to find something that's fascinating, something that kind of lends to the idea that there is some kind of some kind of radio alien burst that's being aimed at us, or some cry for attention out in the madness of space. But when you think about it, they went through 4 million signals, 4 million indicators that could have been radio emissions coming from Proxima Centauri, and they landed on this one, and then the people in Berkeley, they came out and shit all over it. I know that's got to be frustrating. I think the tricky thing is, and we even saw this on an article about China's, fast radio observatory that's getting ready to start leasing off time, is that even the Chinese said it takes a lot of damn work to try to sift through all this background noise in order to find something that's meaningful and speaks to the idea that there could be intelligent life behind these radio signals. But there's too fucking many of them. They literally need some kind of artificial intelligence, kind of like HAL, or maybe the Terminator, technology, or V'ger. They need something. It's okay if it takes over, fuck it. But let it take over identifying these radio signals, because apparently human beings can't do it right. We need technology. We have to embrace it. So the BLC1 is now dead in the water after 3 fucking years. It's over. It wasn't a alien signal. It was one of 60 compatible signals that came from the fucking Australian outback. The didgeridoo, or I don't know what it is. Maybe it was some kind of chanting. Maybe it's those muscle-bound, gurus out there that are playing the drums and fucked up the whole research project. I don't know. So I don't even know if the Parkes Observatory is still looking for these signals for the Breakthrough Listen Project. Who knows? Who knows what the hell it is? But in the words of the great poet and philosopher, you fucked up. You fucked up. Anyway, that's the end of the BLC1. You could pretty much just stick a nail in it. It's done. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure there's more of other studies out there trying to figure out how the hell to find technosignatures. And listen, the fight continues. The fight continues to identify alien life somewhere else. And I don't know. It's a hard-ass fucking job. I wouldn't want it, that's for sure.
Only one, only one, only one. Only one, only one, only one. Patience. I'm running out of patience. There's gotta be somebody who can save me. Gotta be someone who feels the same. Cause I've been all by myself, got nobody else to help ease my mind. I feel so lonely, so goddamn lonely. Can't be the only one. No, I can't be the only one, only one, only one. Only one, only one, only one. I can't be the only one, only one, only one. 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 I can't be the only one, only one, only one. Only one, only one, only one. Lonely, tired of always feeling so lonely, with nobody around to come and hold me. Gotta be someone who feels the same. Cause I've been all by myself, got nobody else to help ease my mind. I feel so lonely, so goddamn lonely. Can't be the only one. No, I can't be the only one, only one, only one. Only one, only one, only one. I can't be the only one, only one, only one. 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 I can't be the only one, only one, only one. Only one, only one, only one. Cause I've been all by myself, got nobody else to help ease my mind. I feel so lonely, so goddamn lonely. Can't be the only one. No, I can't be the only one, only one, only one. Only one, only one, only one. I can't be the only one, only one, only one. 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 I can't be the only one, only one, only one. Only one, only one, only one.
There's a group of scientists over at Blue Origin that are right now working on the next big thing. The next, like Jeff Bezos, he's not fucking around. But who's he going to sue for this? That's all I'm saying. Who's the next target in the courtrooms? Because listen to them. They're cooking this up. They are ready for the next iteration of Blue Origin space program. And they're not fucking around. They really aren't. Blue Origin says it's going to build an orbiting mixed-use business park in space. In other words, a space station. Isn't that something? Like, they totally forgot about their little phallus, and they're moving on now to a space station. Everybody has a space station now. Where the hell is the Asgardians? Where is their space station? Like, they were one of the first ones to say, hey, we're going to put one out there, and we're going to protect the planet from things from outer space. But we're leaving you stinky fuckers because we want our own space nation, and we're going to have our nation in space. This is what Igor Acharbelli said, the billionaire out of Russia, Mother Russia. And so far, China is going to beat you guys to it. And now, of all people, the crybaby is going to do it. Blue Origin and Bezos are going to have a space station. Now, my only thing is, he talks about, there's actually a video out. It came out today. A little commercial. Oh, God. He says, now anyone can establish an address in orbit. Blue Origin and its orbital reef expands across and lowers the costs and provides everything needed to help you operate your business in space. Yeah, I almost forgot the Russians got their own space station as well. Ooh, fucking Orbital Reef. What the hell is that? What is that? How is it that this is going to make space readily available for you and I, the blue collar folk? How is it that we are supposed to be excited about Orbital Reef? The image for this particular episode is, I guess you can call it a rendering of Orbital Reef. You should have called it Orbital Reefer. That might make more sense. Probably how he comes up with his space program, the Orbital Reefer. But hey, by the end of the 2020s is when old Bill Bozo, says that the new commercial space station will be up, Orbital Reef. And he says it will be the premier mixed-use space for low orbit, for commerce, research, and tourism. So I assume that means that the little phallus, the New Shepard, is going to be used to impregnate the Orbital Reef to maybe take some people up there. That's what I'm thinking. That's what he's planning on. So all these people that are paying money, they got tickets to go into space. So those of you who are in that long list that's going to end up maybe taking off in 2030, you guys probably can add the optional package to hang out at the Orbital Reef if you want to, for however long you get to be up there. But that's where it's heading next. That's where Blue Origin is going next. They're getting a space station up there. And for fuck's sake, I just don't know what to say about this. Because he's literally still going through suing people that he feels he's being treated unfairly. Well, because you're too expensive. You're like a fucking space diva. You literally are. You're charging people too much. Like a little Beverly Hills hooker. Yeah, you're not, you might be a little uppity than those that are hanging out down in Midtown in New York, but for fuck's sake, you're charging too much. So I could just imagine that the price tag for this is going to be astronomical. So I think eventually what happened was the little apple fell from the tree, it hit Bezos on his bald head, and now he's like, well, fuck it. If Elon and the crew, if Elon and his scientists and his silver phallus are going off to Mars, then I'm going to make all my money here. I'm going to fleece space tourism as much as I can and try to be the second trillionaire in the world. Other than what we have now, because he had this whole big commercial, and you could look on YouTube, look for this Orbital Reef, and you see this kind of nonsense-filled commercial, and you'll be able to see what he has planned. Now, listen, by the time that Bezos gets this thing up there, there's going to be quite a lot of space stations in orbit. Let's be honest. There's going to be a lot of them. But they all fucking look the same right now, except for the one that Igor Archibelli and the Asgardians are supposed to be putting up into space. So we'll see, because that one's going to be the mother of all space stations if it ever goes up. But that's what we have to. That's going to be the next lawsuit for Jeff Bezos and the gang, because I'm sure they're going to sue somebody because they want their own lane. They want to have their own space in orbit. They're going to call it the Bozo Zone. You can't go into the Bozo Zone or we're going to sue you. Stay away from our ridiculously plain-looking Orbital Reef. More to come on this, I'm sure. Because, hey, listen, it's 2021. He's got 9 fucking years to get it together. We'll see if he does. And by the time he launches this thing up there, let's be honest, it really will be crowded. It'll be extremely crowded. But he'll probably use the Starlink satellites. And I wonder if he'll let the Crew Dragon impregnate his space station anytime in the future. Who knows? But, as they say, money talks and criers walk. So I'm sure for the right amount of money, he'll let anybody impregnate his space station just to line his pockets and make his people happy. This is the end of the podcast. That's it. This is the end for today. Have a wonderful rest of the week. I'll be back next Monday in a week. I may be able to put like a classic episode up for Wednesday. I don't know. We'll see how much time I have, because Wednesday, got to get on that airplane and go do discovering in the Floridas, if you will, and see, get into some margaritas, alcohol, seafood, and some well-deserved relaxation. So, as I like to say at the end of the podcast, deuces.
Yeah. Dose. Yeah. Started from the mud, now you see us going up. Numbers never lie, now you see us blowing up. People used to front, now you see them showing up. Show what's up, I've been down and out below. Keep it a buck, I don't always been one up on all of these. They be trying to front for all of these. I ain't got time cause they all in they feelings. Ice of the gang and we making a killing. It's 2020 and they notice the vision. You be the hero, I'm playing the villain. The underdogs and we walk in the building. We getting money, yeah, they think that we dealing. They talking hot, yeah, if they opponents and we won't stop till we all touch a million. Don't ever forget, but we probably forgive them. I'm living, taking the cause that was given. My blessings is already written. Wrapped little ribbon, putting ourselves in positions to making some major decisions. Started from the mud, now you see us going up. Numbers never lie, now you see us blowing up. People used to front, now you see them showing up. Show what's up, I've been down and out below. Look, I'm trying to get where I'm going, but haters be trolling, that's where they thinking you got me right where you want me. I tell a ghost just ducked up. Sending them shots, we send them back. Yeah, ain't really bout that. Run, it's always bounce back. Need more hands just to count that. Stay on my belly, I need me more breeze just so we can get the team right. Loaded up fully, dogs on a leash, and you be knowing that's a scary sight. Don't happen overnight. Work smarter with some sacrifice. Sugar, spice, and everything nice. Mix it up, now you got a slice. We bridging the gap, they want us to rap, so fuck we back. Yeah. Drew need a plaque, we turn to the max, and we never lacked. Yeah. Been in my bag, it's a drag, I'm feeling jet lagged. Yeah. Came back for vacation, I ain't unpacked, cause I'm going back. Facts, ooh, double the racks. TD the bank, your CD's blank, your Cuban is link. Smoking that dank, pour up and drink, fill up the tank. Do you think I ain't the one, but I'm the one? Who does I whoop? He going dumb, you hear them drums. Came from the slums, they know we the ones, yeah. Started from the mud, now you see us going up. Numbers never lie, now you see us blowing up. People used to front, now you see them showing up. Show what's up, I've been down and out below. Keep it a buck, I don't fuck with you.
Today is the beginning of the end and the start of a new beginning. Time has come to refine yourself and let go of the demons in your head that have held you in captivity for so long. It's time to flip the page and prove them wrong. It's time for rebirth. Yeah, time's up to say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will be free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you're the highest authority when it comes to stop listening to others and